decision out of your hands, so that if somebody wants you to warm your building up warmer than really needs to be, and you know, you can set whatever that is for your district. Now you can say, hey, I really would love to help you out, but I can't because our policy is, in our district we choose to heat to 68 degrees. When we choose to cool to 74. We're not perfect there, by the way. There are exceptions here and there. We have still little space heaters in rooms that I wouldn't want to admit to, but it is so helpful for the custodian, so now they're not always moving up and down temperature settings. That is very, very helpful. We report to the board. The board is excited about hearing from us and what we're doing. And another key feature is, how do you get the administration, or how do you get their buy-in? We are now making this presentation to the Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary Club, and so forth. And when you want to pass a bond, this is great publicity. When you're being this responsible with the money they're giving you, they listen. And one of the things that we say is businesses so often tell us to operate our schools like a business, and this gives us an opportunity to say, you know, if you operate your business like a school, they don't mind. Some of the key support people. This slide, I put the RCM on mine, just probably so you can understand that even as large a district as we are, we're nowhere near Portland, we're nowhere near Salem, but those two or three notwithstanding, we're one of the larger school districts in the state. And we don't have a full-time RCM. It's not necessary, but I'll guarantee you, if you hired one, they would pay for themselves. Some of the other key support people, like I mentioned, custodians, your HVAC techs, it's real important to get them involved in this. One of the things that we recognized early on is some of your HVAC technicians can be set in their ways and not want to adopt new protocols, new technologies. And if you implement new technologies, they can easily unintentionally sabotage them. Nancy's yes, I've been there. Or intentionally sabotage them, or not want to work with them and take them out of their automatic settings and put them into manual, and I'll explain what the implications of that are later. One of the key things I noticed when I did the research on successful programs is having the school and the kids involved. Kids will help hold the adults accountable. If there's no better program in the state for this piece than Salem Kaiser. They have an energy management team down there between David Furr and Cat Hill that has done a tremendous job in getting their kids involved, and a lot of their energy savings that they've achieved has been through that program because of that feature that the kids will help hold the staff accountable. Early on, I met with a group, and I thought we could even get something integrated into our curriculum. They met with the Oregon Department of Education, worked an energy program into the common curriculum goals, made sure that that aligned with what we were trying to do. Unfortunately, at the time when we were trying to accomplish that, we were bargaining, and the timing wasn't right to add anything to the teacher's plate at that point. And really, honestly, still hasn't been, so we went another direction. As I'd meet with custodians, just kind of kept leaving a little hint, boy, you know, if we can get those kids involved, and this is a custodian that took it upon himself to get his kids involved. And he got a little club going with the help of, I think, a second or third grade teacher, and they made posters, so there was the art component, they did the math, they counted the lights, so there was that component. They talked about how energy was used, sort of the science component. And what was real exciting about this school is, this is anecdotal, I can't give you scientific support completely across the board for the fact that they saved $800 a month from that point forward, but they did. And what's really cool about that, it's an all-electric school, and it has HID lights in the classrooms. HID lights are the kinds that you run into in gyms, that you turn them on, you wait 10 minutes, and they finally come on. Think about those in a classroom. They're not going to turn them off. because it takes forever when the kids come back. So to save that kind of money at an all-electric school is pretty fascinating. And that is simply by getting the kids involved. The kids would do things like give tickets if they go by a classroom and lights were on for more than 10 minutes, they'd hand a ticket to the teacher. They got the principal 3 times, and that was just the coolest thing for them. They really liked that. Reporting back to the interested parties is something we made sure we did. This is a document that wasn't available in our software, so I just took the data out and made this chart once a month for myself, handed it out in a mass email to all of the principals, district administrators, and it was boy, you just don't, I wish the colors were better up there. It looks really good here if you want to look at this. What this report did is it compared the schools among themselves. And a lot of our principals and custodians are just sort of naturally competitive. And they didn't want to see that they weren't doing as well as their other schools. Whereas that wasn't the initial intent of the document, it sure served that purpose. In fact, another anecdotal piece sort of pointing to this low-hanging fruit is one of our schools, which is this one, West Gresham right there, for months, the yellow highlight there is what you have across the top, if you can't see it, is you have July of 05, July of 06, July of 07. And then you see how much energy they used each month. Then the lowest usage one is highlighted. Typically for West Gresham, it was always the current month that was highlighted for probably a good 2 years. Their custodian left. From that point forward, the highest month was the current month. It took me a while, but I finally decided I probably should meet with that custodian, and I called the principal and just said, hey, could we meet for a minute or two? Just want to talk about the role that the custodian there might be able to play in helping with the energy savings. Sat down with the custodian. It was a very it wasn't a confrontational at all type meeting. He's a very neat guy. And we sat and talked for a little bit, and he said, oh, I didn't realize there were things I can do. So we talked about some of those things, and from that point forward, his then were the lowest reporting months from that point forward. I keep wanting to point to this low-hanging fruit aspect because there is a lot of savings available by just getting that culture established out there. Now, this custodian tells his night custodian. The night custodian at that school writes a, for lack of a better term, sort of a green letter or recycling letter. And this is the night custodian, and he writes it for the school on a monthly basis, and he includes little tips that the staff can take advantage of for helping save energy or water or recycle and that sort of thing. That's how far we've evolved, I guess, in our culture. Well, I'll explain a couple others. I don't want to stop there. Well, yeah, I guess I should stop here. Here's how successful we've been. This is a KBTUs per square foot as a district in '98. This is where we are now. That's not uncommon that your districts may be there now in this column. These aren't outrageous numbers for use for San Barlow High and Gresham High School. Right now, I will say that those two numbers there, where we are today, outperform, and I'll explain why in a little bit, outperform several LEED, silver, and gold schools. What I would like you to see here is also this one right here. Kelly Creek Elementary was the newest elementary, and look where they were. They were higher per square foot than any other school but the two high schools. One of the, I'll get into this in a bit, but one of the sort of unfortunate things we get into is we believe that since we have a label, then it'll perform as it's labeled. This was an energy smart school. What people didn't know, and we got on, that's the first school we got on when we finally understood what the data meant. We were at 84. We knew we were supposed to be between 39 and 42. Come to find out, this school had a automated energy management system, and I'm going to refer to that as a DDC system. How many are familiar with that term? Direct digital, oh good, okay. They had a DDC system in there. We had schedules in there, but the schedules were all overridden. Well, we didn't know that. We didn't know when the custodian left at night and still heard the equipment running, he didn't know it wasn't going to shut off. When the